Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1. And what a game in terms of a spectacle. Like, you had sending-offs, 3 goals. Really nervy at the end in terms of the finish to the game, but happy with the 3 points. But I have to say the second half performance was a little bit concerning when we were 10 versus 10. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about the starting 11. So the only changes from my lineup was that Bayinde, Maguire, Shaw and Casemiro started ahead of Lemens, Euro, Mainu and Cunha. So I would have started, Lemens, Euro, Mainu and Cunha ahead of Bayinde, Maguire and Shaw, Casemiro. So in terms of the starting 11 that Ruben Amorim went for, Bayinde in net, it was Delit, Maguire, Shaw making up the back three, Mazraoui, Bruno, Ugarte, Casemiro, and Dogu making up the four in midfield. Then a front three of Ahmad, Mbeumo and Sesko. So in terms of United, we started off really well in the first half. I'm not going to lie. We were creating chances, and in the 3rd minute, Dogu creates just enough space ahead of James to skip an early delivery into the 18-yard box for a sliding Sesko, who misses his contact on the penalty spot. In the driving rain, Mbeumo continues his run to the far post and gets his head on the ball, forcing Sanchez to make a really good reaction save. So we could have gone up in the 3rd minute there, 1-0. And then in the 5th minute, we actually get Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, actually gets sent off. Bayinde launches a long clearance out from the back, which is met by the imposing figure of Sesko inside the centre circle. The tall striker gets a flick on, which sets Mbeumo off to the races with only the goalkeeper to beat, but Sanchez mistimes his tackle just outside the 18-yard box and catches the winger. After taking a second to think, referee Peter Banks produces a card and it's red. And I have to say that it was a red card in my opinion. I think Sanchez, the Chelsea keeper, he rushes out, he misses the ball, he takes out Mbeumo, and Mbeumo takes it around Sanchez, and he was in on goal basically. He could have scored. So I do think that it was a red card. I think Mbeumo's touch was slightly a little bit heavy, possibly couldn't have made it to actually get off the shot, but I think it's a red card anyhow because he denies that goal scoring opportunity. I think Mbeumo probably does make it back to that ball and he gets an open net, and so in terms of the first half, we play the majority of the first half, 11 versus 10, and United, we do go 1-0 up through Bruno in the 15th minute. Mazraoui stands up a cross to the far post for Dogu, who rises highest to nod a header towards goal. Fernandes breaks through the defensive line and stretches to get on the end of Dogu's effort, redirecting the ball to put it past Jorgensen and in from close range to make it 1-0. In the 17th minute, unfortunately, Casemiro slides in to catch Fernandes on the back of the leg after the Argentina international had played his pass. It's a yellow card for the United midfielder, and Casemiro is on a tightrope throughout the rest of the game, and unfortunately, of course, he does get sent off at the end of the first half. But before that happens, United make it 2-0 in the 37th minute. Mbeumo and Fernandes work a corner short to Mazraoui, who's crossed to the back post from a central position, finds a jumping Dogu. The wingback squares it, but doesn't manage to find a teammate because of James. Reece James, he whacks the ball straight up in the air for an attempted clearance, causing a queue to win the ball in the air. Maguire gets a telling touch, nodding it across the face of goal for Casemiro, who pops up and prods a close range finish past a sprawling Jorgensen to make it 2-0. And then unfortunately at the end of the first half, this is 5th minute of injury time at the end of the first half, 45 plus 5 minutes gone. Casemiro then gets sent off for a second yellow, and it's 10 versus 10 for the rest of the game. Casemiro was pulling back on Chelsea's Andre Santos. He comes in from behind to make the challenge, and he gets the ball, but it goes through the Chelsea player. And in my opinion, Casemiro is wrong to make that challenge. You're 2-0 up. The team is in complete control. We were in complete control, 11 versus 10. You're already on a yellow card. You don't have to make the challenge, but Casemiro does. I think it is a little bit harsh, the yellow card, but Casemiro allows the referee to make a decision, and so I have to blame the veteran midfielder Casemiro for allowing the referee to make a decision, and then he gets sent off. In my opinion, he shouldn't be making that challenge when he's on a yellow card. We're 2-0 up, we're in complete control. There's no need for you to make that challenge, but unfortunately he does, and United also go down to 10 men. So in terms of the first half, and we were completely dominant. At the end of the first half, United had an XG of 1.41 compared to Chelsea's 0.05. In terms of possession, United had around 58% possession compared to Chelsea's 42. And of course, we were playing against 10 men for the majority of the half up until Casemiro also got sent off to make it 10 versus 10. So in terms of the second half, United do make a substitution. Sesko does go off for Ugarte. And then in the 63rd minute, Chelsea almost score, but it is overturned. James's outswing corner is met at the near post by Tosin, who flicks the ball onto the back post for Fofana to turn past Bayinde, but a clear offside in the build-up keeps the game at 2-0. Then United make a couple more substitutions. Mazraoui goes off, and then on comes Cunha, and then another substitution United make. Mbeumo and Maguire do go off for Euro and Mount. And then unfortunately in the 80th minute, Chelsea do make it 2-1 through Chalobah. Enzo Fernandes plays a short corner kick quick to James, who isn't closed down fast enough by Ugarte. The Chelsea captain is given space, is given the necessary space to measure an inch perfect cross to the 6-yard box for Chalobah, who rises all alone to head a finished pass by Inde. Then United make a final substitution. Bruno does go off, and on comes Mbeumo. And then in the 93rd minute, of injury time at the end of the second half, there's a scramble in front of goal. Chelsea almost make it 2-2. Fernandes leads James down the wing with an inviting pass, and the fullback gets on the end of it before hitting a low, dangerous cross into the 6-yard box. Bayinde dives off his line to try and reach it, but he pushes into the path of Gusto, who can't turn the ball towards goal. Santos is there on the follow-up, but his shot is blocked as well, and Manchester United escape the late danger unscathed. So in terms of full time, obviously, in terms of the first half, the sending off did help us quite a lot. You know, you don't play against 10 men every week, and you can only beat what's in front of you. So in terms of the first half performance, I have to say I was impressed by us. Even though we were playing against 10 men, you know, you can only beat what's in front of you. But in terms of the second half, we didn't have the man advantage in the second half, and I thought we were poor in the second half. It was 10 versus 10, which is concerning. Who knows how the game would have ended up if it was majority of the match had been 11 versus 11. In terms of possession, Chelsea dominated the ball in the second half with around 71% possession compared to United's 29%. But that was poor by United standards. But yeah, in terms of overall, I am of course happy with the 3 points. But like I said, I think the second half performance was a little bit concerning for me. But let's get into some player ratings on FootMob, and then we'll head off. So Altay Bayinde, he started in goal ahead of Saint-Lemens. Accurate passes 9 out of 24. Accurate long balls only 3 out of 18. I thought his distribution was poor in my opinion. Again, his distribution does need to improve. So he wasn't amazing in my opinion in terms of his distribution. He couldn't really have done anything for the goal that he conceded. It was from close range. But yeah, in terms of De Ligt, he got 42 out of 49 accurate passes, 86%. He was alright as well. In terms of his duels, he's won 5 out of 10. So he's won half of his duels. Possibly could be doing a little bit better there. But you know, winning 5 out of 10 of your duels is alright. He did obviously, well, we were playing the majority for the first half anyway. We were playing against 10 men. Maguire, he lasted 70 minutes. He was decent as well. 33 out of 40. Accurate passes 83%. In terms of his duels, he's won 2 out of 5. I think he could be doing better there with his duels. Not many ground duels won there, so that needs to be better. Luke Shaw, I thought he had a better performance than he did last week against Man City. 33 out of 37 accurate passes with 89%. In terms of his duels, he's won 3 out of 5, so he was okay. And then Mazraoui, I thought he was decent again. Possibly could be doing a little bit better with his passes. Only 68%, 26 out of 38 accurate passes. And then he played, in terms of his accurate crosses, 2 out of 3. Accurate long balls, 1 out of 4. Duels, he's won all of his duels, which is decent. 7 out of 7 duels won, which is decent. And Casemiro, He did get the goal, but unfortunately he did get sent off. 20 out of 22 accurate passes, 91%. One chance created, obviously scored the goal. In terms of his duels, he didn't win any of his duels, and unfortunately he did get sent off. And I have to say, I have to blame him for that sending off. He shouldn't be making that challenge, and it was a needless challenge to make, and it made the rest of the game really hard for us. But thankfully we do come away with all 3 points. In terms of Bruno Fernandes, I think he probably was man of the match. 3 shots, obviously got the goal, the first goal that we scored in the 14th minute. 29 out of 40 accurate passes, and then in terms of his duels, he's won 4 out of 11. Could be doing a little bit better with his duels there, but can't really be faulted. 5 passes into the final third, 57 touches, 2 touches in the opposition box, 2 out of 3 shots on target, and the game did get a little bit more difficult for us in the second half when we were kind of 10 versus 10. I do believe that Chelsea did play better than us, and who knows what it would have been if the majority of the match it would have been 11 versus 11. But yeah, in terms of Dogu, he did get the assist for the goal for, I think this was for the first goal. 26 out of 33 accurate passes, 79%. Comes away with an assist, 2 chances created, and 4 touches in the opposition box. In terms of his duels, he's won 7 out of 16. Possibly could be doing a little bit better with his duels there. He's not won the majority of his duels, unfortunately, and like I mentioned previously, I think going forward he lacks that quality in the final third, in my opinion. But he does come away with an assist this match, which is decent. In terms of Brandon Mbeumo, I thought he could have done a little bit better, in my opinion. Only 15 out of 18 accurate passes, 83%. Lasted 69 minutes. So had the 3 shots, but really wasn't really too threatening, in my opinion. Was getting in some dangerous positions in the first half, but yeah. Shots on target, 1 out of 3. Duels, he's won 3 out of 9, which isn't great. He needs to be doing better with his duels. But yeah, in terms of Ahmad, I thought he was decent. He had the least touches of any outfield player to play in 90 minutes. 51 touches, 25 out of 27 accurate passes with 93%. And then in terms of his duels, he's won 4 out of 9. Again, needs to be doing better with his duels, in my opinion. And then finally, Sesko lasted 45 minutes. He was bought off so that we could bring on Ugarte, so we could shore up that midfield in the second half. Accurate passes, 3 out of 3. And then duels, he's only won 2 out of 3, which is alright again. But how many shots did he have? He had 0 shots, which isn't great, in my opinion. That needs to be better. Hopefully he can start scoring and contributing to the team. He is making some decent runs in behind that I was seeing, but he wasn't really getting found, in my opinion. But yeah, in terms of the substitutes, Ugarte came on for Sesko, lasted 45 minutes, 12 out of 14 accurate passes. Duels, he's won 5 out of 10 duels. Could be doing a little bit better there, but he was alright again. And then Matheus Cunha, he also came on to play 25 minutes. Didn't really get involved too much, only 5 out of 8 accurate passes, and then he did win 4 out of 6 of his duels, which is decent. Mason Mount came on for 21 minutes, didn't really have too much of an impact. 5 out of 7 accurate passes, 71%. Didn't really get involved in any duels. And then Lenny Yoro lasted 20 minutes, 3 out of 6 accurate passes, 50%, and then only won 1 out of 2 of his duels. And finally, Kobbie Mainoo didn't really have much of an impact either, only brought on for 3 minutes at the end of the game for Bruno Fernandes, and he won 1 out of 2 of his duels. So yeah, again, I think if we have a look at the stats, overall, Chelsea did kind of have more possession than us, but we had more shots on target, more chances, more big chances. Higher expected goals than Chelsea as well, with 1.74. But I think the stats are a little bit skewed because in the first half we kind of did dominate them. Until you have a look at the stats in terms of the first half when we were playing against 10 men, 58% possession, 1.43 expected goals, 9 shots, 3 on target, 2 big chances created. And then Chelsea in the first half when they had 10 men only managed an XG of 0.052 shots, so that wasn't great by them. But have a look at the second half when it was 10 versus 10. I thought we were poor. I thought we were poor going forward. Defensively, we did look okay, because everything that Chelsea had in terms of ball possession with the 72%, it was in front of United. They weren't really troubling United's goal. Everything was in front of us, so we could easily kind of defend it really well. We were defending well as a low and mid block. It was a low block that we went to in the second half, and we were defending well. Chelsea didn't really have too much of a threat on goal. 3 shots for Chelsea, 1 on target, which they did score from, and United had the 2 shots, 1 on target. But yeah, we did have a couple of opportunities on the break to actually finish the game off, but unfortunately we weren't able to do so. So overall, I think it is concerning the 10 versus 10 when we went down to 10 versus 10 in the second half. I think the second half for me was concerning in my opinion. That needs to improve drastically, if we are to finish like in like top 6 positions or whatever. But overall, happy with the 3 points. And first half performance, happy with the first half performance, but second half performance definitely does need to improve, because I think in the second half, even though we defended well, we were poor going forward, and Chelsea did dominate the ball, but we only let them have 3 shots with the 1 on target. So where does that leave United in the league table? We have moved up to 9th position. With that win over Chelsea. I think this is the first time that we've won 2 consecutive games at Old Trafford in a long time. I don't know when the last time that was, but we have won 2 consecutive games at Old Trafford, and Chelsea's unbeaten record in the league has come to an end, and we've put that unbeaten record to an end. Chelsea were unbeaten in the league up until they played against us. So where does that leave us in the league table? We are in 9th position on 7 points, 1-2, drawn 1 and lost 2. So it's a good win, bouncing back from that defeat against Manchester City last week. Chelsea, of course, kind of tired. They didn't really tire, but of course they had that midweek fixture against Bayern Munich, and United didn't have any midweek fixture. So that is good for us in terms of we had more preparation time. But yeah, overall, happy with the 3 points. And next up, Manchester United are away to Brentford next week, so hopefully we can come away with all 3 points in that game as well. But overall, happy with the 3 points, and yeah, most important was the 3 points this match. Anyway, if you enjoyed this review, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.